Welcome back, everyone, to another installment of our Red Spotlight Reaction Commentary series for Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm Alexis, joined by David Francisco. Come back here to the show that talks endlessly about one of our favorite shows of all time. Again, a show catered to the longtime S.H.I.E.L.D. fan. And this is going to be the reaction to the second episode of Season 3. As last week, we reacted to Laws of Nature, the first episode. Today, we'll be talking about Purpose in the Machine, which was written by DJ Doyle and directed by Kevin Tancharoen. This was broadcast on ABC Television Network on October 6, 2015 to 4.32 million viewers. The episode received mostly positive response with Tancharoen's direction, the guest cast, and the script's momentum for a second episode. Those are elements that were praised. The returning cast includes, of course, Clark Gregg, Nguyen, Brett Dalton, Chloe Bennett, Ian DeCastro, Elizabeth Henstridge, Nick Blood, Adrian Palicki, and Henry Simmons. Of course, today joined by Peter MacNicol, returning as Elliot Randolph, James Hong, legendary Screen Actor Guild winner James Hong as William May, Alex Hyde White as Thornley, Spencer Treat Clark as Alexander Braun, or Warner Von Strucker, and Blair Underwood returns as Andrew Garner. And as far as some of the filming is concerned, anything here to keep note of? I'll go over some real quick a snapshot of some people. Okay, so Joseph McCabe at Nerdist praised Tancharoen's direction, calling him one of the show's strongest directors, in feeling that his episodes of the series are remarkable, not only for how well they move, but also for the clarity of their storytelling. Rob Lean from Den of Geek praised the episode for its focus on characters, relationships, and dialogue, noting how the series has moved away from more traditional syndication-friendly standalone episodes and instead relies more on the Netflix-style serialization. He stated the episode did well, building up to a dramatic rescue sequence with an array of action-free dialogue scenes. Interesting. However, there are some critics, of course. Scott Meslow of Vulture gave a less favorable review, scoring the episode 2 out of 5 stars. Ouch. Saying that maybe it sounds like I'm nitpicking at this point. You probably are. And the last thing I want to do is ding a fun comic book adaptation for doing fun comic book stuff. But stories like this, like the ones in this episode, stand out because S.H.I.E.L.D. would be more fun, not less, if it were willing to tackle them in all their complexity. I do not know what that means. Okay. Interesting stuff here. We're already well into, or today actually, we are into Season 3. Before we start reacting to the episodes, we like to take a look at some of the comments that were left behind from our last episode. And I did take a peek at them, and I'm really interested because some of them are kind of singing the same tune, in that perhaps this is not as well as a fondly remembered season as Season 2 or Season 1, which is a very interesting thing to say. I know last week I did mention that I think it's complicated because I really do love this season. I love a lot of the episodes. I love a lot of the storylines. I remember very vividly, as I said, not enjoying it as much in moments. To me, and I know there's a comment specifically that says that the first 10 were not that great. I personally feel that the first 10 of this season are the best, and I think the following 12 are very good. But I think with Season 3, I think this is maybe this is the first time I'm actually kind of articulating it out loud. I feel like this is one of the first seasons where, well, I don't even know if that's necessarily true. I think it kind of did follow the pattern of 2, because I think you and I had this discussion. I was about to say this. I was gonna say that maybe this is the first season where, like, the first part of the season is way better than the second part. Now, Season 2 is complicated because I think all of Season 2 is great. But I think you and I had this discussion in our season 2 review episode, which is like, which part of the season did we think was stronger? And I think you and I landed on the first 10 episodes. Right? It just felt like a tighter, more cohesive piece. And every episode was delivering. Correct? Season 2A versus Season 2B.
Yeah, I think we agreed for the first half. We for sure liked it a lot more.
So if what I'm saying is, okay, then I feel like it's the same with this season, but I do feel the emotional highs for Season 3 at the end are not as big as the ones for Season 2. So I think, I don't know. In my memory of it, I loved watching episodes 1 through 10 of this season while it was airing. And then once Bobby and Hunter left, it was, I don't know if it was separation anxiety. I don't know what the hell was happening, but I just did not enjoy it as much. And I also am not too aware of some of the behind the scenes stuff that was happening. And I'm just previewing some of the comments that we're about to receive. So David, if you can go ahead and start listing off the comments that we received last week for Laws of Nature.
Mm-hmm. Okay. First one's from Silva. Welcome back, agents. Good to see you too. As much as I'm inclined to
finally
on this season, I'll try to keep focus on what I enjoy. I'm still looking forward to next week, as Season 3, Episode 2 is easily my favorite episode of Season 3. The rest of the Season 3A is okay, but does get better at Season 3, Episode 15. The gap between these two episodes is harder for me to enjoy personally, but I'm looking forward to your analysis and reactions to it. Have a great weekend.
I think that and thank you for that comment. Thank you for returning. I know we've been gone for a month. I really do appreciate it's as if we never left. And thank to all of you for coming back. Even I know like going away for that long period of time was like, oh, but thank you. We feel like you guys are going to stick it for the long haul. You're big fans of this show. I know S.H.I.E.L.D. fans, and they're going to want to rewatch the whole show as much as possible with a new group of people. So thank you so much for that comment. And I always do appreciate the differences in opinion. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we need to do that more. Like I feel like Silva and I like maybe are not necessarily on the same page when it comes to this season. But I do think we're going to find ourselves, and we're very much not on the same page when it comes to Lance Hunter, that's for sure. But it's going to be interesting because I do feel that there are some common held and accepted criticisms of the season. But again, so far, based on just the one episode we reacted and commented it to last week, we had a blast. I mean, that was a really good episode, and it kind of like flew by like nothing, so... Thanks for that comment. Next
one's from Durla, Gary Marshall. Welcome back, agents. Welcome back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's good to have you back. Thank you. Season 3 suffered from a number of problems, which was hard to work around. Season 3A, the Maveth arc, runs as the producers...
Maveth, yeah.
Okay.
That's the planet.
Runs as the producers wanted it, and we get a lot of great episodes, most notably Purpose in the Machine, 4,722 hours, and the last 3, Many Heads, One Tail, Closure, and Maveth. The problems then started to pile up. Firstly, Dylan Casey, who played Will, was supposed to have come back from Maveth in some shape or form, but was having personal issues, and so was let go, leading to the return of Britt Dalton as Hive. Dang. Secondly, we have the saga of Marvel's Most Wanted, the series that never was. I've read the pilot was originally going to be filmed at the start of the season 3 with Bobby's line in episode 22, "I can't do this anymore," being her exit line. The network then postponing filming of the pilot until middle of the season, leaving producers having to write them out over the 2-episode arc, A New Man, and Parting Shot, which meant they couldn't immediately start the season 3B arc storyline. Lastly, Juan Pablo Raba, who played Joey, left 3/4 of the way through the season to film the series Narcos when he had a larger role. This meant that Daisy's Secret Warriors initiative was limited only to a single episode outing. All this leads to a very disjointed season 3B, which had some great highlights but never reached the heights of 3A. with the finale probably being my least favorite of the show, albeit still great. Apologies for the long post. Don't apologize. That I've never heard of this before for sure. So that is awesome. Like fun facts, honestly.
The one thing we heard of before, and I may have been the same person, but we did hear in an earlier, maybe it was one of the season 1 episodes that we reacted to, and I mentioned about Mavith, but like we had heard previously that there were that situation with the character that the actor that plays Will, that we did hear. All this other stuff is stuff we kind of knew of, but it's not like we kind of put the pieces together. But that's actually really interesting what was said there. Every piece of that. One of which includes, and that's something that I'm very grateful for that comment, because we do kind of start the season and we really do just gloss over Bobby who's like, I can't do this anymore. And now it makes a lot more sense knowing that the intent was in between season 2 and 3 was to have had the Marvel's Most Wanted, the spin-off pilot starring Bobby and Hunter, to have been shot. That was the intent. It was ready to go, and it was ready to go to pilot, but it was postponed.
Yep.
It was postponed, and so we start the season, and things seem... I guess something must have happened in the original idea for that pilot in between 2 and 3 to have, like... And then because it didn't happen, they just kind of, like, the show just pretended it never said, I can't do this anymore. I feel like if Jed and Marissa were like George Lucas, they would just special edition and, like, take that line out. If they were like to re-edit it now, basically, because it basically went nowhere. So here's the thing. This is a really good example of why people should give the show its praises, even for doing what many would consider to be the bare minimum. Because how do you fucking write a show with these kind of conditions? And here's the thing. Clark Gregg has said many, many times that there are so many storylines and ideas for characters and even things that they wanted to shoot that they had to cancel the day of because Marvel really came in and said, you can't do that. Like, the conditions that these people had to write and shoot a show in are just kind of, they're the worst conditions, and yet they were still able to recover from, like, having to start from scratch in a lot of these places. But then here comes the ugly side of, like, of having to be part of, like, this whole synergy mantra and connect yourself to an extended universe, mind you. S.H.I.E.L.D. unfortunately never really reaped the rewards of being associated with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. As we have said many, many times, many diehard MCU stans took pleasure and delight in kicking S.H.I.E.L.D. And the people who loved it as many times, so much so that anytime a S.H.I.E.L.D. fan would come on one of these, like, talk shows like Collider or Screen Junkies, they would be like so, like, meepish and sheepish. It's like, I'm sorry, I love S.H.I.E.L.D., but it's a great show, and yeah, there are some not so good, and ha ha ha, and yeah, and yeah, the but still, the MCU was not only bossing it around, but it was, like, interfering with storylines that they wanted to do for its actual, like, legitimately, like, if we can go back in time and just, like, completely erase the idea of doing a pilot for Bobby and Hunter, I mean, I personally feel they never really would have left the show. I think that's kind of what happened, and I do think it sucks for a lot of reasons. I think it sucks for us, the fans, that we were so shortchanged of characters that really could have gone further. And I mean, one could argue that by the time we got to their final episode, that's kind of like, that's all there wasn't that much more to go with Bobby and Hunter. You could make the argument that they had run their course and keeping them around was not going to be great if it was just going to be the same old roller coaster. You can make that argument, and I would be happy to hear it. But they were fan favorite characters, and they brought a sense. They brought a great chemistry to the dynamic of the whole ensemble, and it was so much that I got used to that when they were gone, it was like something really, really big is missing here, and I can't tell what it was. And like, oh yeah, Bobby and Hunter. But like it mostly, I would think, sucked for Nick Blood and Adrian Palicki, who were like, I mean, they were on this show, things are going great. They could have theoretically lost on years of work because they floated this idea of a pilot, they shot it, and then it just was never put to order. And by that point, they were already written off this show. I do not like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not great. But it also, I mean, it was going to happen no matter what. But keep in mind, like, oh shit, like they had to like, this is, can you read that part about like that this meant that, they had to, that season 3B couldn't get started right away, or what was it exactly that this person was, they put it?
Mm-hmm. Let me find it. Okay. So, secondly, we have the Saga of Marvel's Most Wanted, a series that never was. I read that the pilot was originally going to be filmed at the start of season 3. 22. I can't do this anymore online. Being her exit. The network then postponed filming for the pilot until the middle of the season, leading producers having to write them out over the 2-episode arc, A New Man and Parting Shot, which meant they couldn't immediately start the season 3B arc storyline. So I guess because it was going to be planned, the pilot be shot after 3A, but it never went through.
They filmed,
yeah,
but the executives didn't like it, and so it just died.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like it when you think about it, like it is an awkward place to have characters exit the show, especially as big as characters as these. Like they're exited off the show at the very beginning of a new season, part of a season. Yeah, that is quite a mess. And would you like to say anything about like that comment that we received there?
I mean, like I said, it's awesome fun facts and everything. Kind of sucks for sure. What was it? Daisy Secret Warriors Initiative was limited only to a single episode outing.
Oh, I forgot about that. Also,
Yeah.
Joey Gutierrez, like who we just met last week, he also just like left. He left them high and dry, and they're like, well,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was a lot. Oh man, can you just imagine being them, the producers, just like, what the fuck is happening?
I mean,
And
ultimately,
so I guess that's interesting. I didn't realize that they were gonna have Will be Hive. And so I guess the implication is that the actor who plays Will was actually going to play Hive, and that they were not originally going to bring back Brett Dalton.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
Right? Because the way that I read that comment was like, well, the only way that he would have a bigger role is that he was going to be Hive.
Mm-hmm.
And he was technically Hive for like one episode. And then Hive went from him to Ward's body.
Mm-hmm. So then were they going to do something bigger with Ward? Or were they just
I don't think so. I think they were going to close it there. I think they were going to close it there.
Mm.
With technically, let's be real here. That episode, regardless of, Brett Dalton gets up and walks as a new character, but that episode is the end of Grant Ward.
Okay.
He does not come back after that. Like, he is dead. So it's like, as they were setting it up, as they were intending, that was the finale of Grant Ward. That was it.
Yeah.
But it just so happened that due to the difficulties of the other talent involved, they needed a new actor to play Hive. And thankfully, they had dispatched somebody, and he could inhabit the role.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is interesting. It's interesting. I think it's interesting to me that was their backup plan and not what they were intending the whole time. Because I know that at the time that we were watching season 3, at least me, I was like, oh yeah, they for sure were planning this all along, that they were going to give Ward's body to Hive as a way to keep Brett for a whole other half of the season. But it turns out, I guess not.
Mm-hmm.
I guess not.
It's so funny though, too, because it does make sense. Like how it went down. It's like, yeah, of course. That's how you bring prank that actor and all that and just go along with it. That's awesome. But
yeah, that's very interesting. Thank you very much for the comment. I really did appreciate this revelation for sure. Do we have more comments?
Oh, yeah. Next one's from Serenity. Jay August, who plays Deathlock. He played a character named Gunn in Angel, and he had a hubcap axe. Serenity says it was pretty cool too. Possible inspiration for the shotgun axe, in my opinion.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so there is, I guess this is a way to theorize, because where did the idea of this come from? And perhaps with their work. Now, I believe Angel was Joss Whedon, correct?
Yeah, Whedon.
I want to say that. Yeah.
Oh, I think Angel is like the spin-off to Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
Slayer.
Yeah.
Slayer.
So what was Angel? I don't know this myself. So is Angel something that Jed Whedon was much more involved with than Joss Whedon?
That I don't know. I haven't seen either show. So
well, the thing is, if Angel is a spin-off of Buffy, they're Whedon universe shows, and Jed being Joss's brother, him watching these shows, I guess you could say that this is like maybe an early genesis of the idea of a shotgun axe, which would be really interesting. We should probably look up images of that next week, and then just like and like reevaluate that comment.
Yeah.
And get some more information about that. Okay. Next comment.
Yeah. Next one's from Jack Dubs. Considering just how creatively compromised it was, both internally and externally, season 3 holds together pretty well. It's certainly not my favorite. I would probably rank it bottom in my season tier list, but it does contain some extraordinary episodes of network TV. The long and short of it, too many stories and arcs being chopped and changed in order to accommodate corporate directives from Marvel Television, Marvel Entertainment, actor availability, and the lack thereof, and being royally fucked over by Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios. Yeah. But I mean,
it's really interesting, David. I know I ask you this every season. How much do you remember? But to me, aside from Bobby and Hunter, it didn't come across as a story that was getting screwed over behind the scenes and they were having to do these last minute pickups. Because I've seen many examples where there's like behind the scenes stuff and you can definitely tell it's like shit. Look no further than Star Wars Episode 9. Which, as stupid as it is, I honestly would have preferred a 3.5 hour cut if it meant that you could just, I know more of it is not really a positive, but like what definitely hurt that movie was the fact that for every storyline they just cut so much out of it. Anyway, with 3, I don't know. I legitimately consider season 3 to be a very good season. I'm sorry. I just like we'll see. I think now knowing this information, I can go like, oh, okay. Now I can kind of see what, because I remember, yeah, Bobby and Hunter just kind of like leave out of nowhere. And I also remember, yeah, Bobby said this, but now it's like, it didn't even happen. And then also they were setting up Joey, and then he just kind of leaves.
For sure.
Never comes back.
For sure, Joey is a thing that I was just kind of like, he was there and then gone. That was for sure.
They were setting him up, and I think it was also kind of important because he was like, I think they were setting him up to be like a member of the main team.
Mm-hmm.
And he was significant because I think he was being set up to be their first like openly gay character. And then unfortunately he left, and then they just didn't come back around to that. Which is interesting. I know that Jamie Dirac, who is a diehard fan of the show, loves the show, But as a member of the community herself, she was like, it could have been a lot more gay. Which I love that. I love that comment. Jamie Jirak is a wonderful person, and I love her takes on this show. Beautiful. And I think to me, and again, I've called her, she is like, she worked overtime to wear her love of this show literally on her sleeve, and she would be on many panels where like nobody else would like even care to watch it. So that's interesting. But that's funny. Anyway, more comments.
Yes, last one from Shieldvids. This season is a season of lost relationships. Basically, every character loses someone close to them, either through death or being let out of S.H.I.E.L.D. Fitz starts the season having lost Simmons for months. Simmons loses Will. May loses Andrew. Coulson loses Rosalind. Mac loses Bobby and Hunter. Daisy loses Lincoln. Which, yeah, that's pretty much everyone. Wow.
No, for sure. Yeah. I'm like, well, who else? At this point, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, God. Yeah. Well, I guess that means that we're ready to start?
Yep.
Previously on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I miss her too. I'm having a hard time accepting it.
Oh, yeah, I forgot how we left off the last episode with Fitz screaming into the box.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to pick right up with that one right now.
Yep.
Gemma would want us to do that.
I'll tell you this, David. I know there's been a lot of conversation in the week that we're recording this about like Doctor Who and everything, and then also just generally TV. I think a lot of TV shows today could learn a lot from watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you that right now. And here we're watching a ceremony of which we know nothing about.
Mm-hmm.
We're introduced to this rock thing. Now, well, in retrospect, we know what this means now. But at the time, we're like, wait, what? This is a really weird flashback to like olden times, right? So somebody drew a wrong rock. They're given these items. And then it turns out it was a sacrifice because they were being given to the monolith, of which the last episode, Fitz went to great lengths to find more information about. And all he could find that was attached to and pay attention, by the way, to the symbol on that door. It's going to come back. All that he could find that was like a parchment that was always with the monolith as it was traveling from continent to continent was this one word written in Hebrew called Maveth, which is translation into death. Which that would be the name for the planet that this rock would transport people into. Now we know, of course, the full history of it. Well, one version of it, which was like, the Inhumans use it to banish Hive, and that's where he's at. But it evidently comes originally from Izel and her dimension, and the Chronicoms, I guess, stole. We'll get there when we get there years from now. Anyway.
Fitz broke into containment.
Oh shit, I forgot. I was like, we started so calm, and I'm like, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
We have this shit going on over here. But one thing you will notice, as we saw with last episode, is this season is going to really go big into developing the partner dynamic of like Daisy and Mac, and we're already seeing a little bit of that right now in that little scene that we got. And there's Coulson on. He's just wearing a brand new hand, which also tells you how much he's just going through hands, not liking any of them.
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
Oh man.
Sand. Not just sand. Impossible sand.
And again, how quickly his brain works.
So you think the rock is a portal?
No, I'm proving that it's a portal. Okay, to another planet, a very old planet, a crack in space-time that carried Simmons away.
When I was getting this episode, to set it up for editing, the whole time I was looking at it like, is this the right episode? Like, we're already here? I could have sworn this takes longer, right? But he's already like gathering the evidence of like, hey, I know this is a portal now, and then they're gonna work through, trying to see how it works, getting more information and everything, and then we know how it ends, obviously. But even I was kind of like, oh dang, we're here. Cool, I guess.
Yeah. I think like a lot of us, while we were watching it in real time in 2015,
I'm on this with Fitz.
Haven't you been on this with Fitz the
I
whole
love
time?
that comment by
hiding
Kristen
his
right
trip
there.
to Morocco,
But I think
covering for
ultimately,
him on a
like,
constant basis?
Have I?
we felt the same thing. We felt the same thing. It's like, what? We're already here?
Mm-hmm.
But there's still the full details of what she went through are not yet ready. That's still weeks away. So.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, for sure.
But
and I mean,
She's been undercover at
it's-
Hydra, and that face makes an impression.
with her situation specifically, it's best to kind of do it.
But
Get
you're
this
right
done
though.
as
But
fast as possible.
with some shows, they would wait weeks and weeks and weeks
Mm-hmm.
before we even. Oh yeah, let's go rescue her.
Yeah.
Randolph's actually been on the
So,
planet
yeah.
for those centuries, and he's traveled through space in a portal, and he's also an alien, so...
I do have to question why Fitz didn't talk to him first. Unless he did, I'm missing something. But
I don't. Maybe he just forgot he existed. I mean,
Designed to handle flawlessly under any conditions.
and so here we're introduced to like Ward, and
Ever opened it up?
I guess the mentality of him like introducing a leaner, meaner version of Hydra.
Jim, soft, entitled, staking wealth for success.
Which I don't know. I guess it is some sort of ideology, but really at the end of the day, he's after something. So it's like, is this really what he believes, or he's just playing the part? You know, that's always his thing. But like,
These people have proven themselves in blood. See how they didn't even flinch?
I like how the costume department just like loves that jacket on him.
Mhm.
It does work.
So tell me.
No, yeah. It's, everyone has like a superhero costume of sorts. Once upon a time, remember? Emma's
Yeah.
red leather jacket.
Oh yeah.
Whenever we watched the first season, it kept switching from the red to a blue one and all that. And I got so disappointed that they could have brought it back when the Elsa season came out. But they just kept her in the
Yeah,
blue fucking dress and all that.
Disappointment is definitely common over there.
Mm.
All right. Well, it's not like you're giving me any choice.
Just jumping right straight into it. And I love this moment here where it's like, he did it or something. Yeah. Coulson's just like, oh shit, what do I do here?
Yeah.
It's a great moment here. And here's Dr. Gardner, which is very awkward for him coming back for a lot of reasons, because some of them are gonna wonder, okay, well, where's May? But then also something else is happening behind the scenes that we're not too sure of just yet, but he very much is well aware of. So there's that. I was going to say,
Anything to drink?
Daisy trying to butter me up.
I guess I didn't catch it there, but you know how Randolph was saying like he basically was in prison because like he got too drunk, and he made a comment like, generally as Guardians are very good at holding the liquor, but one night he tried to hold in all the drinks, and there actually is precedent for that, because I just remembered there was a pretty humorous moment in Avengers: Age of Ultron where if I remember correctly, was it Thor brought something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And oh no, man, it was Stan Lee that got wiped out, right? Like Stan Lee had a cameo, and he's like, oh okay, oh well,
Yeah, it was the Excelsior line that he had.
that was so good.
Don't watch where the ball goes.
Then how would I
And
find it?
ladies and gentlemen, James Hong,
Oh,
an international treasure.
Mm-hmm.
Come on,
Yeah.
I mean, the show to get somebody this, come on.
Fair's fair. 10 shots for
And
me.
what an honor
5
for
bucks
like
you.
James to include Shield and like his long list of credits. I believe now he's 95,
Oh my god.
so or 96. I don't even know. Like it's.
But 20 years with your mother has taught me to pick up on things.
I think right here. So this is 2015. He probably is 85 right here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hate to disappoint, but it looks like a regular old... Oh? How often does it do that?
There it is. Automatically, you can tell though. the difference with last episode and this episode. Last episode we were like, we're moving. Here we're moving, but we're a little bit more living where we're at right now, trying to get to
On this planet. So you have no idea how to control
we're
it.
setting up like, okay, what really happened with Simmons? How do we get her back? And then also, what's going on with May and why isn't she back?
The only reason you came with us was to confirm its existence.
And destroy it.
You'll have to go through me.
And I could.
It
God.
fits, man.
Yeah, right.
It's like the start of his scary arc.
Yeah,
of
it
sorts.
starts here. Yeah.
Fairly heartless, but if I do, I want your word.
I mean, technically, if you want to trace it back, the first instance of him doing something really like questionable was when he nearly killed Ward last season.
Oh.
And like when he caught off his oxygen,
Mhm.
technically. And I guess he did accidentally kill Gord because like he was like holding the thing and then Gordon got like trapped in the brace and he got impaled.
Mhm.
Because I have seen this word carved into the walls of a castle in Gloucestershire, England, in 1853. To the plane!
I love
Am I allowed to say that?
I love it.
It's so good.
Oh God. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I will never understand people who like do not get or vibe with the humor of the show. It's like really, really good.
There are easier ways of getting money than kidnapping.
Also, that guy next to Ward is the guy who got his head slammed into the table. I just like that he's just his second-hand man now.
Yep.
It's like,
Yep.
okay, yeah, you proved me wrong, sorry. And then just goes along with it.
Basically, he made him his bitch. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
I think his name is Kibo.
Mm.
Really interesting name. Oh, look, rats.
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu. Yeah.
Why's that?
I'm an exterminator.
That was a bit goofy.
Yeah, a little bit.
It was like...
Heard rumors of travel to the stars. Found it all to be nonsense, but it was a fun party.
The carvings?
Right, of course.
I don't know. I'd love to hear his stories for hours.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure
for
they're really entertaining.
A man dressed as an owl, of all things. They got him drunk enough to admit that no travel to other worlds was even occurring. Just ritualistic killings. Yeah, the whole thing stunk of half-baked Satanism.
Here's another one. This is why I got rid of all the SHIELD logos on our vehicles.
But did you, Coulson?
I mean, first of all,
Thank you.
I love that he did that too. It was kind of... Technically, it's a big problem for the past 2 seasons and all that, but I'm glad that they mentioned it.
But I'm also just glad that how Bobby immediately, there's a big eagle symbol at the top of your plane, and then he was like, well, that's just cool.
Yeah. And you can also say it's like, it'll strike fear on the enemies,
Sure,
Because it's like,
sure.
I mean, it's one thing if it's like on the water bottle, but on your plane that probably has like a whole bunch of weapons and everything, it'll have a different impact on people.
Letting Fitz try to open a portal to save one life. These are questionable decisions.
You should be telling him that.
He doesn't want to hear it right now. He is who he is. But you're still changing.
You see something I don't? Horns?
You're turning into a leader.
That was a good scene there.
Mhm.
And it also just shows like how far Daisy now, almost at Sky, has come from where she was all last season. I love how she's like taking on the identity of an human as an empowering one and wanting that same experience for her peers, basically, from her people, basically.
Mostly, I remember how hard the ice was when I'd fall. Over and over. That's why I switched to martial arts. Padded floors.
Well, and you could hit people.
By the way, I love these interactions that these two have. And by the way, can you tell that Ming-Na Wen and James Hong have known each other for years? Because they just have a natural warmth
Mm-hmm.
and charisma amongst each other. Like, this just feels like 2 old friends catching up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it totally comes across.
I feel like that's just James. What's his last name? Sorry.
it's Hong's.
Hong,
Sure, it's
okay.
like it's just his thing, but I do think that they've known each other for a while. I mean, like they were in the same movie together, for Disney. So
Oh
there's
yeah,
that.
that's true.
What?
Mhm.
There's no bunker under the Louvre.
No, but I mean, I also say
I'm
I
sure
feel like
they've-
it's just the actor himself, because he just in any movie you see him
That's
on,
just-
he's just always the fun
yeah.
character, and everyone can get along with him and all that.
I need you to load something onto Zephyr 1 and bring it
Yes.
to us.
What exactly am I bringing, sir?
Yeah. You're not gonna like it.
His prosthetic hand, the way that like he was holding it. Do you know if like that was an actual prosthetic hand, where like he just kind of like puts it over his actual hand, or does he just have to keep in mind that like, hey, remember it's a prosthetic, so you kind of have to like hold it weirdly for right now?
I don't know. I think it was the second thing you said, which is just
Hold it
him
weirdly.
acting as if it's
Okay.
Yeah. Does it come across that way? Because I think what you're meant to see is that he's uncomfortable
Yeah.
with it. Very uncomfortable, and like he's kind of like awkwardly moving around with it. Like, it even just looks awkward. It's like he just doesn't like it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Your ex, because he's actually been around. Hawaiian Islands couldn't rekindle that old flame, eh?
Just
Car accident, broke his hip. Police called it a hit and run. Looks like Mr. May's doing okay to me. Part of you wonders if it was Ward. Going after the people you care about. Both know he's capable of it.
What's your way in?
From below, climb the ranks, Hell Hydra and all that.
He sees your face, you're made.
If he's close enough to see my face, then I'm close enough to put a bullet in his.
well put, Hunter.
No, yeah, for sure. But then also, May suspecting if it was Ward that almost tried to kill her dad.
Mm-hmm.
To me, though, if it was Ward actually going after them, he'd get the job done. So I
But David,
understand.
that's not really the reason why she's there, though. You do remember that, right? Like, she's not there. I mean, yeah, she wants to take care of him and everything, but like, she's there to hide. She's there to run away from something.
Mm.
That's what her dad keeps asking her. Like, why are you really here?
Oh, okay.
I mean, yeah, she cares about him, but like, there's a main reason why she's there.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to find out what that reason is. So it's like, yeah, I agree with you. It's like, if that was, it would be a bit far-fetched. Like, come on. Like,
Yeah.
you really think if it was, but like, she's there to get away from drama, basically.
Yeah.
When Jakarta thinks I need to be more so, he recommended 3 months observation and counseling before reassessment for Joey. Says I'm reckless.
Don't take it personally. He probably just meant
He
that.
said you're desperate.
What? He didn't say that.
I love her here, where Bobby chimes in and she's like,
I'm struggling to come to terms with physical limitations and losing my sense of self instead of redefining it. No, he didn't mention you. Oh. Oh, he did. That's what he said. Okay. Yeah.
Mac, push that lever.
I'm like, oh God, I would be like, oh shit.
Yeah. It's like, dang, I just called
I hate
myself
when
out.
you're yeah, basically. The determination of Fitz is unrelenting. Unrelenting. Love the music bit here. Very good. I don't know. I'm not sure we mentioned Bear McCreary's music as much in season 2, but I do think we're going to mention it a lot more this season. I think we're going to hear more motifs this season. I've already been hearing, I heard a Mavith motif earlier, and I think it's going to come back later on. So I'm happy about that. I mean, we did mention like Sky's theme, obviously, in season 2, but we're going to hear, I'm sorry, Daisy's theme. See, now I'm doing it. Oh, God. This was unexpected. Whatever the hell just happened with Daisy.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what? What the fuck's happening?
Yeah.
And like the vibrations are, I think, really getting to her.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, if she can, like, sense any sort of vibration within the world, she's literally hearing, like, or sensing a tear within, like, fabric of space and all that. So, it would make sense. I mean, I feel like anyone just heard me say that would be like, you're really pushing it. But, I don't know, to me, that makes sense.
In season 4, we're going to see her be pushed to absorb vibrations at various points.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 different times we see her like she's learned to absorb it. Absorb it, I should say. This scene we're about to get, I really do enjoy.
You remember the pain when you hit the ice. But I always remember how quickly you would get up.
I was a kid. It didn't hurt as much then.
My daughter always got back up.
He walks away without the cane. It's also showing her, like, hey, I can get back up too.
Yep.
You needed a push. I had to know you could handle the fall.
Another parallel.
Yep, basically, yeah.
My father would have you
Your father kept you in the dark and then died a meaningless death, leaving you to hide your face with no answers.
What's really interesting is like what's happening with Hydra here. It's like there are a lot of other heads that are just like kind of hiding and not really doing much. We know of Gideon Malik, who will come into play this season, but then later there's General Hale, who's also undercover at the Air Force, working alongside General Talbot the whole time.
I'm confused. What exactly is she planning to do here?
I love this reaction here. It's like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is an Asgardian, so he's just like, wait, what the hell?
Yeah. I didn't even think about how, like, he doesn't know she's an Inhuman. He's like, him asking that question, I'm like, even I was kind of like, wait, you don't know? And it's like, yeah, he doesn't know. They're...
Hold it open as long as you can.
Fitz already, yeah.
Yeah.
Not even second guessing, it's just jumping straight into it. Like, come on. And then here we are, and it's pretty hellish. It makes me wonder, like, because Daisy is holding the monolith open, can she see glimpses of what Fitz is seeing? Because right now she's going to say, "Get her, grab her," as if she was there. Like if part of the monolith is like molding to her vibrations a little bit. We'll see right now. It's just a theory. Maybe I'm just like reading too much into it. You're gonna see it right now.
I mean, maybe she can't actually see what's happening, but like I said, she senses,
she can feel it.
The vibrations of everything. She can probably, like, you know, whether it's within their emotions or with their voices, you know, she can tell that they're right there, and she just needs to hold on.
Ooh, that. Music's great here, by the way. Just like. When this happened, I was like, you're kidding me, right? You did not do this. But then, because you don't know for sure which way they're going to go, because they fuck with Fitz and Simmons so many times, like, oh God, that would not be great.
Her hair, like, having all that grill stuck in it. I'm so curious how, like, annoying it was to get that cleaned off.
Yeah.
They call themselves Inhumans.
I have not heard that word in a very long time.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. I've not heard that name. I'm sorry, I'm just like...
yeah.
I've got Star Wars on the brain right now. Which, funny enough, later on this season, Coulson makes... Actually, 2 times this season, Coulson makes some of the best Star Wars references, jokes, I guess Star Wars jokes ever that I've heard of. So, and they both come in finales. One comes in the finale for season 3A, and the other one comes in the finale for season 3B.
Simmons is back.
One of those jokes involves Obi-Wan.
Are you serious?
So that's
She's
funny.
alive. Fitz, you absolute beauty. Come on, beers. Let's get the beers in there. Come on, mate. Smile for once in your life.
I do love Hunter's reaction on that, though.
Yeah.
He's like Fitz's biggest cheerleader, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Speaking of Fitz and Hunter and their relationship, in season 5, when they reunite, when they part ways, they also use another Star Wars joke there. So maybe you remember that one. There's a lot of Star Wars jokes in the show, which is very appropriate for Coulson and for the cast and crew at this point. Yeah. Gosh, at this point, you're just like you really have to imagine what she's been through, but knowing at this point,
you wouldn't believe how messed up mine is.
I do wonder though if anybody out there in the fan base has decided to watch some of these episodes in a different order, because what would it be like if instead of watching this, instead of waiting like 4 or 5 episodes to get to the big one where it shows where Simmons was this whole time, what if you instead start the season with that episode? Because it automatically gives you, so the last thing you see in season 2 is her getting teleported. But if you choose to watch season 3 with this episode first, you automatically just jump right into it. And then you watch all the other episodes in the normal order, and I wonder what that experience would be like. If you want to watch it that way. Because then here, she's going to begin to act she's going to be acting very weird and strange in these next 2 episodes. And I feel like that's going to hit harder if you watch it in that order instead. That's going to be curious. At some point, I should try that, but I probably will forget. So I'm saying somebody should try that and see how it works. Anywho, let's go ahead and go to Ami.
Families. You got me there. You wouldn't believe how messed up mine is.
Ward. Come here.
The side eye.
Come here. You are a petty little bitch. I mean, May kind of is the reason you killed your girlfriend. To be fair, a lot of that can be echoed your way. You know, would have been in that situation have you not been doing your crazy ass bullshit. Anyway, I love to hate Ward. He's such an interesting fucking character, and he's just so much fun to watch. I don't have a fucking clue what he means, though, with, we're gonna rebuild Hydra the right way. What
exactly.
Right way? It's
there is no right way.
Hydra, man. Like, and he said he didn't believe in all the Hydra-isms and stuff like that. Hell, Garrett didn't either. He was just using their resources to a point to achieve his own goals. So is that just what he's doing as well? I don't know why he wouldn't just want to cut those ties altogether. I mean, again, resources, the name carries weight in the criminal underworld. Maybe that's all it is, but I feel like he would want to make a name for himself, you know, make his own organization, not just rebuild the old and just keep it up a going. I expected more of you, Ward. It's very petty and small of you to do that, but getting Strucker's fucking son, did not see that coming. He's a little dorky little dude, man. I could not get a fix on who he is. He looks like Gary Busey's kid, mixed like with Patrick Wilson, mixed with Logan Paul. Who is, I don't want to look this kid up. I'm so scared. I don't want to potentially spoil anything. I know what to do. Agents of
Spencer Clark, or Spencer Treat Clark, I think is the actor's name. I think he's most known for being the kid in Unbreakable, the M. Night Shyamalan movie. And he was also in Gladiator. He was the kid in Gladiator, the first movie.
Ooh. Spencer Treat Clark. What an interesting middle name. Treat. Like, now that I'm looking at him, he does kind of have a familiar-ish face. Oh, that's probably why. Yeah, he's the kid from Unbreakable. That's why. He just has the same face as an adult.
He does.
Okay. Fair enough. That's another reason he looks so familiar. But yeah, May running away, going to hang out with her father because he got injured. Is it just to protect him? Like, she suspects that maybe it was Ward, and he is going after her family and people close to her. Him just be like, hey, you're just like your mom, all these things. Like, God, her parents are so typical parent, you know? Like, the way her mother talked to her, the way her father's talking to her. Oh, you're just like your mother in this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. Like, literal checklist. And then just trying to remind her of who she used to be, you know, the woman she is, you know, the get back out there attitude that she's always kind of had. And this is kind of her taking a step back from that, you know, hiding away, looking over his shoulder, packing and hiding the gun just in case. Like Hunter said, you're never really out if you're always looking over your shoulder. And she's doing exactly that. She's just kind of hiding. And I guess, like, even when she left with Andrew and they went off, they did their thing, it's just part of her could not let go of that. It's the same reason when she left to go on that trip to begin with. She still brought that gun. So as much as they started to maybe mend that rift, she still can't let go of all of that. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, like, Ward's got a hard on for going after her, man. I mean, one, he went after her in multiple ways before, but now he's just trying to destroy her. Fitz, though, it's so funny. Between last episode and here, they were like, give up on it. And then, little clue, don't give up on it. And then we got through. We opened it up. We went back to that guy. I love that he came back. You know, we went back to this Asgardian dude, this scholar who's been here for all this time, you know, helped with the spear and all kinds of other shit. Came back around to help our team figure this thing out, fill in the gaps that Fitz was unable to find with tracking this monolith. We found this old-timey, and how did they figure out how to open this thing? They built this echo chamber, this reverberation chamber, to tune into this frequency that activates this monolith and opens the portal. So, like, then why is it just activating all on its own? You know, why is it just randomly activate? Is it just being triggered from the other side? Like, it appeared to just be a hole in the fucking sand dune. Like, it didn't look like there were, I mean...
Notice how it said hydroelectric power? Hydra.
Oh, okay.
Its origins are on this planet. We don't really know. We don't really know anything about this thing, and I'm not sure if we're going to get any answers anytime soon now that it's destroyed. But the fact that even once the machine crapped out, you know, we still have Daisy here who can hone in on that, you know. Her mother trained her to do that herself, like with the wine glass. It affected her, though. It was damaging her, that noise, or I don't know if it's the portal being open, it's the frequency itself. I would imagine she would be immune to frequency, so maybe there's something else going on with that. Like, I'm a little confused as to that. I'm also confused as to how this rock is a weapon to be used against the Inhumans. Maybe it's what's on the other side of the rock that is the scary thing. I don't know. I don't really have a clue about all that. Maybe that's a mystery for later. I don't know. No, we didn't get any other sightings of this, you know, task force by the government in this episode. We didn't get any sightings of Shadow the Hedgehog in this episode. They are trying to recruit Joey because he's the only powered person that they have that's not Lincoln. No Lincoln in this episode either after everything that happened too. I thought that was kind of strange. But, you know, it's like, his powers, he melts shit. I don't know how useful he would be, but then again, that's just the base level uncontrolled aspect of his powers. We don't know what utility he could bring once he actually can control and focus it. So I guess there is prospect there. But Andrew's like, hey, man, until he can figure that out, there's no point in trying to navigate this shit. Coulson is on his villain arc. Not really. His anti-hero arc, man. He's not against, like, you know, threatening people and all kinds of other shit. He's like, yeah, go kill him. Like, when talking to Hunter and Ward, what about that whole thing, you know, he's like, again, like, he's just, his new nickname right now for the time being is Coulson. Ward's got a sidekick now that he's also trying to train up. He's assuming the Garrett role now in this situation, which is kind of what I thought was going to be happening anywhere. Take everything away from this kid and make him earn it like he did. Again, lots of questions. Where was Simmons? How did she survive? What was out there that, you know, caused her to need to defend herself in the way that we saw when she woke up? What did she eat? What did she drink? Or did she need to? How long has it been for her? Because again, we could talk about maybe the time moved differently over there. We don't really know. Lots of fucking questions, man. And at the end of the day, coming back to May as well, even though she was trying to hide, she was visiting her father, trying to hide behind that relationship for a little bit just to kind of shield herself in a way. It's like, I just want a normal life. And he was just like, bullshit. Yeah, I don't know. I like that. Seeing James Hong and pop up anywhere is always a delight. But then Hunter came a knocking, and she's off with him now. They're teaming up for Team Kill Ward. Ward feels like one of those guys. He's just that main cast member that's just going to be there until the end. I don't know the situation, but I just don't see us ever killing Ward off, at least anytime soon. So it just makes me wonder what that storyline is going to be like for this season. I do want to come back to Fitz again, just talking about just how much he cares about Gemma to go to the lengths that he did in the last episode, going out and just confronting these terrorists to get information and then all kinds of stuff, and then just head first diving and shotgunning the containment on this rock and slapping the fuck out of it without really any understanding of what's going on, what it is, or what might happen to him if it sucked him in. And then here, the second they got that portal open, he was just like, yeet! Just dove right in. I was so ready for them to do the thing. Oh no. And then they pulled him back. And they were teeing that up. They were teeing it up. They knew what they were doing. They're like, here's the trope. We know the trope. We know you know the trope. And I thought they were going to do the trope. And then they didn't. I'm so happy. I'm so glad they're back. I'm so glad they're back, man. I don't know, man. This was an interesting episode. There's a lot of interesting groundwork already in this season. I can't wait to see what happens. We got this potential storyline with Daisy becoming a leader. It kind of scares me a little bit because I don't want anything to happen to Coulson, in that way, for her to take his place. If she's going to be a leader, and it could be of her own team, of her own squadron, but it makes me kind of scared for Coulson, especially with him on this kind of edgy streak that he's on at the moment. I hope nothing happens to any of these characters except for Ward. I would not be sad if Ward died at this point. I mean, maybe I would because he is, again, a very fun character to watch and to hate. But guys, that's all I got.
All right, very interesting observations there by Ami. David, do you want to say something?
Yes, I don't know why it hit me when you mentioned the Hydro thing, but I saw a cool connection. So the guy that's with Simmons and the other world, he worked at some space station, and that's why he was chosen to go through the portal. We see the symbol of the space, or the logo of the space station, and then later on we find out that space station is connected to Hydro, and we see how the symbol, the Hydra symbol, turned into the space station. Tell me if I'm wrong, but at one point, was the symbol an actual, maybe, goat or something with some horns? Okay. You remember how the professor, he was telling them I convinced some dude in an owl costume to tell me that there's no real space travel going on. And then he said that, I'm pretty sure this was just some satanic cult.
Ritualistic, yeah.
Yeah, ritualistic. Wow. I just got that. I'm like, holy shit. He was technically right. They did do some ritualistic shit. But then also when he said that there's no travel between the stars, I wonder if that was Hydra afterwards going, oh, hey, what if we lead into that? And then that's how the space station came about and all that. I can't believe that just hit me. That's so connected. That's so funny. That's so good.
Yeah, it's very well established, especially because what's really interesting here is, in a way, what Marvel allowed Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to do with Season 3, I guess you could call it a retcon, but I would just say it was, I don't think it's a retcon, it's more like a yes and, which is the Hydra that is mostly known in the universe, the MCU, was Red Skull's Hydra that was born out of Adolf Hitler, Nazi Germany. Turns out Hydra's a lot older and more evil, as evil, but Hydra's been around for a very long time, and they just kind of allied themselves with the Nazis in the history of the MCU, which is something new that was added to the season. And all of that is connected to the first scene of this episode and what you just said. So, major props for Marvel Studios allowing them to do that at least, because I would think that that would be like a no-go, but thankfully not.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I didn't make the connection in another aspect too, but I a little tidbit there. It's like, oh yeah, they use hydroelectric power to open up the portal. How would they even have this tech in the 1800s? Well, I mean, the science division.
Yeah, there.
Oh, hydro power, Hydra. Also, it's funny because like in season 5, Daisy has this moment of like, General Hale is Hydra, like Hale Hydra. Like they
That's funny.
they do this shit. But it works very well. Here's some reaction from fans from Reddit from 10 years ago. Out of all the reactions to Simmons' return, I liked Hunter's the best.
Mm-hmm. That's cute.
Yes, very much so. Obi-Wan as Guardian. Inhumans? Now that's a name I've not heard in a very long time. Yeah, I caught it too. Tacos plus evil person posing as a father figure equals the next crazy evil person. If I'm not remembering correctly, and I also liked how Ami was like, yeah, I mean, Ward is just doing the same shit that Garrett did to him. If I'm not remembering correctly, didn't at some point Garrett bring Ward tacos? He had a bag of food with him, and he said that they were tacos.
Yeah.
And then Ward literally brought tacos to Von Strucker right here. That is a really good level of detail that I did not catch before. It's like, huh. See, now that's something that tells you that the people on this show give a damn about their work.
Mm-hmm.
That they can remember a small little detail like that. Because even I couldn't recall that, or much less even realize that. Gemma might have returned from the other side of the universe, but Fitz made it out of the friend zone. Well, I mean, this person had no idea what was going to happen now, so that's funny. The other one was the most stressful television scene I've ever watched. Yeah, the ending. I know we were pretty tame watching it, but that was a very well done sequence.
Oh yeah,
like we were all literally just holding our breath. Like, is it gonna happen? Is it not gonna happen?
No, I mean we knew it was gonna happen, but I'm pretty sure when I first watched it, I'm kind of like, oh god, are they gonna get stuck together? What's gonna happen? So,
someone suggested that Simmons is actually Skrull Simmons. Please, that's no. I'm sure Secret Invasion pretty much just ruined Skrulls forever.
Mm-hmm.
Just sad because Skrulls are a really interesting idea, and you have one bad show, it just it leaves a poor taste in. I mean, you watched, so you would know, right?
Yeah.
I was just looking for some fun ones. I found them all. Okay, let's go to Eric Goldman at IGN. This is what Eric says. Having sat out last week's premiere, both May and Ward returned in Season 3's second episode, both in interesting but radically different new places in life, though it seems these two will soon be encountering each other again. The look at Ward's leaner, meaner version of Hydra was fun, with Ward as brutal as ever. This episode didn't have the action highlights the previous installments directed by the returning Kevin Tancharoen did, but I did enjoy Ward's fight on the boat. And when he simply shot and killed a man who got a good punch, underlining this is not a guy who fights fair. That was a funny bit that they added with the actions. Like this one bodyguard, if you notice, he kept coming back. Like I think Ward had knocked him out 2 times, and he just kept getting back up. And then the last thing he did was punch him in the face, and that was it. And Ward just like, it reminds me of remember Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones with the whip scene, right? Or the guy that had, the guy had the swords coming out and he has a whip and he's like, fuck this, and just shoots him, which is what Ward just did right here, which is like very humorous. How that, I think that was very much meant to evoke that moment.
Oh yeah,
for sure. As a Marvel comic geek, it was also cool to see S.H.I.E.L.D. Pull out the deep cut character that is Werner von Strucker, the other child of Baron Strucker's in the comics, who is often overlooked due to his siblings, the twins known as Fenris being a whole lot flashier. It seemed like a bit of an in-joke / acknowledgement of an MCU misstep when Ward told Warner his father died a meaningless death, given it was pretty lame how he was killed off-screen in Age of Ultron, considering his post-credit scene in the Winter Soldier seemed to hint at big things ahead for him. I think, and I want to make this very clear, I like the MCU. Mostly from 2008 to 2019, plus a couple of other projects. That's about it. But even with things that I like, there is like this cavern of like missed opportunities, right? You have so many actors that they've worked with. I don't know necessarily if Strucker was supposed to be a big character, but I do think he would have been someone interesting to. I just feel like the post-credit scene of Winter Soldier was very big because it introduced obviously Wanda and Pietro, but who carries most of that scene is Strucker, and he just had a really cool presence to him. So it would have been actually interesting to see if they had used him more. And I guess to some people, they thought they were going to use him more, and then he was just kind of like killed off screen.
Yeah, but I mean, you can say that with like any villain within the MCU, where like had they just kept him alive, you could have used him for something else later on, but they never did that in the beginning, and now they won't kill off anyone because they're too scared.
Yeah, that's another problem. As for May, she had gone to the opposite direction, looking to put aside her old life for a far more domestic, Gulf-fueled experience. This was inevitably going to fail, but it was still an interesting change for her, hearkening back to the desk job that we met her at. And it was great casting to bring in James Hong as her dad. As for the episode's main plot, I was surprised to see Simmons rescued so quickly, but it fits the faster pace S.H.I.E.L.D. took on last season. It felt like it could have been interesting to see her there more before she returned, but I'm hopeful and optimistic we'll still get looks of what happened via flashbacks and such, since that final scene in the premiere hinted at so much occurring. This episode faltered at times with some clunky moments of humor. Early on, S.H.I.E.L.D. was plagued by what I can only describe as forced Whedon-isms, with too many quippy moments from too many characters that devalued the idea of the humorous line in the face of danger that worked so well on Buffy and Angel. The show has managed to feel much more balanced in this regard of late, but Purpose in the Machine suffered a bit from leaning back into this at times, with bits like the Asgardian Randolph pointing at Coulson while exclaiming, "He did it." That was funny. Come on. Like, really? Okay. Still, the return of Randolph was a nice touch, with the show bringing back what had been a one-off season 1 guest star. 2 weeks in a row, Fitz has had standout moments. Last week, it was the raw emotion of seeing him helplessly beat his hands against the monolith. Here, it was when he threw caution to the wind and dove into that portal, as he was so very determined to rescue Simmons no matter the risk. Their dramatic reunion certainly played well, especially when he was yanked back away from her and she fought to climb forward to reach him again. Okay, the fact that they cut away just before their fingers let go of each other basically telegraphed that they didn't let go, but hey, it was a sweet moment, let them have it. In the midst of this, we got more of Daisy's evolution, both in her powers, which were integral to opening the portal, and via Andrew noting she is becoming a leader now. This was intermixed with the observations about the darker places Coulson has gone, which we'll be building on more this season, including sending Hunter and now May on a pure revenge slash assassination mission with Ward. Are we heading towards Coulson and Daisy as co-leaders of sorts, serving different purposes, or could Daisy one day supplant Coulson? Either way, kudos to Andrew for being the one to actually say Secret Warriors on the show for the first time. It's really interesting this season. I feel like when I was watching this episode, I don't know if I agreed with Andrew, like all these things about like what's Coulson really doing here. I think ultimately these two episodes have not had to say it out loud, but I do feel like they've shown you enough to get you to understand that Coulson right now is not in the best places. It's not just the hand, it's May being gone, and also he's pissed about like what Ward did to Bobby, because while it's not going to say it out loud, in a way Coulson did kind of let Ward go out into the wild at various points. I mean, at multiple points actually, and so that's like a big part of what's going on here too. And he's changing in a way. Like, it's even changing in how he's dressing. Like, he's not like he's not even presenting himself as like the Boy Scout with like the suit and everything. He's not even wearing the suit anymore. He has like a whole new. So it's like things are changing. They're evolving, and I think you can say that for a lot of the characters, specifically from the first season. You're seeing that with Daisy. You're seeing that with Fitz. So it's like, which is natural and I think necessary for a show that is going on as long as it is and will continue to go on even longer. But I think it's also setting things up for where Coulson's going to go later in season 3A, where he's like, he goes not necessarily ape shit, but he like locks in on fucking assassinating Ward personally after what he does. So yeah, David, your thoughts on this episode, some of the critiques that we heard or comments, have at it.
No, yeah, this is really good. I mean, even now I'm just kind of like always surprised, like, dang, we already got her back. I could have gone a few more episodes without her to see how the dynamic's going to change and everything and all that. But I mean, obviously I'm glad she's back. Fitz and Simmons back together.
Well,
and then just all those.
They're in the same space, but I'm not sure they're.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
No.
And then
the sad thing is that the sad thing is, if you think about it, they were more together at the end of season 2, where she was like, "Oh yeah, I'll go to dinner with you." That didn't last for. These writers, man.
And then everything with just Daisy, it's always really good. Honestly, so far, just any moment with her, there's always just something great happening with her and anyone else. So, good episode.
It's really interesting because I feel like Daisy's always an important character, but I feel like there are some moments of the season where it almost feels like she takes a backseat, even though like there are things progressing with her. I think that just speaks to there are a lot of characters on this show, and I think ultimately at the end, by the time we get to the end of the season, it always ends up centering on her. So it's like we know that with Daisy, it's just how it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's funny though is that first season, the first 2 seasons, it was more. She wasn't so much of a lead because it was just everyone else around her, circling her because the events were circling around her and all that. Like, what I mean is, like, first season, she's just a fish out of water character, basically. She's our entry into this whole world, how the spies work and everything. She's always asking the questions: what's this gadget? What's this thing? Or what this protocol is and all that. So that's all she was. Obviously she was funny. She progressed into wanting to become an agent herself. Second season, she's taking the world more seriously, becoming an agent, but it was still everything. We mentioned it. It's like literally everything is centered around her, and it's everyone else trying to have to like work around that. But it's everyone else taking the lead and trying to like wrap their heads around everything that's going on, while she's just sort of moving along with everyone else because she has no control in this situation. But this one though, like the therapist guy said, can't remember his name,
Andrew Gardner.
She's becoming a leader now, and that's her. And that's really what I am noticing is like she's getting like a whole lot more connection with some of these characters, and she is taking up more of a role within this season. So
she's maturing into it for sure.
Maturing into it. That's the best way to put it. So,
and especially with especially with what she's been through.
Yeah.
It's like Yeah, it's a lot for sure. Well, feel free, any of you who listened and watched, to leave any comment you want down below. We will return next time and next week with episode 3 of season 3. Thank you so much again for watching and listening, and we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.